think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Our goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. You know what that be, right? That just be my little extra energy I gotta get out before I get live and get into the thing. You know, the thing with the thing before I actually do that, man. But I figure I'll let my head down on this one. Interesting piece, man. And I see that it's been a reoccurring topic over the last couple years, even though, you know, stances have changed. Things have changed, man. We in a new era of boxing. And I think we all know that. It's a clear difference. The money, the mentality, all of that. Like we're in a different era now. And hopefully we understand that. Hopefully that reflects in our boxing conversations, man. The only reason why I'm really going to do this whole episode is so that it'll help us in our boxing conversations moving forward. Salute the Cookie Monster. Bodywork. Cookie Monster say crystal clear. Glad to hear that I'm clear. Thanks, Cookie Monster. I appreciate you. But I'm gonna just go through this real quick because I think, you know, it's a necessary one that I gotta go through every so often, because it's a lot of stuff out here, man. It's a lot of crazy things going on, man. I said I'm gonna get tunnel vision, man, and act like I don't even see what people out here doing, man. Gaslighting is a manipulative tactic where someone is convinced to question their own reality, thoughts, feelings, or sanity. The goal is to make the victim doubt their own perceptions and instincts, and to convince them that the gaslighter's version of events is the truth. Like your version, like you said it first, even though, you know, you did, you got that, you said it first, you got it, you said that first, you came up with that first. That's gaslighting. Gaslighting can occur in both personal and professional relationships. It can be subtle at first, with the gaslighter changing small details in stories or memories. Over time, the victim may start to question their own intuition and rely more on the gaslighter to define reality. Some examples of gaslighting include questioning the victim's memory of events, changing the subject, or questioning the victim's thoughts, making the victim needs or feelings seem unimportant. Yeah, like a lot of stuff I be talking about, it be unimportant until somebody else decide they want to talk on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a ghostwriter, y'all. I'm a ghostwriter. You know what I'm saying? Just take my word for it. I'm gonna have proof. I got proof. Trust me, I do. I got a lot of proof. Pretending to have forgotten what happened or denying promises made to the victim. The term gaslighting comes from the 1944 film Gaslight, which was based on the 1938 play Gaslight. I said I'm gonna let my head down. I'm gonna keep this one light, man. I'm not really gonna go into that. But what the subject of the matter is, I just want to let y'all know people are still gaslighting. Just because you don't call them out on the stuff that they doing and really put them on blast. You know what I'm saying? People think they get away with stuff now, but trust me, it's gonna bite you in the eyes eventually. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. Somebody's gonna make sure that it does. And then also time, man. There's a lot of goofy people running around right now. And for me, because I put stakes in the ground, you know, I kind of like look, listen, watch, learn. You know what I'm saying? I allow myself time to be a fan. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't keep doing that, y'all wouldn't even get no content. It wouldn't be any content coming from this page because if I didn't allow myself to just be a fan, because I keep telling y'all, people don't like the truth. People will say that you crazy and you overboard, and then they talking about the same shit you talking about. They suddenly adapt the same reasoning and rationale and lines of questions, and you know, it's just stupid out here, man. You gotta stay focused. You gotta stay driven. And you gotta still have fun, man. Like if I can't allow the sport of boxing to give me fun, like I wouldn't be doing this, man. Like if I felt the way I used to feel at work sometimes, because like when I'm doing this, it don't feel like work. It don't. You know what I'm saying? I could imagine a box. If it was anything like when I played football, that shit didn't feel like work. You know what I'm saying? So I could imagine boxing and shit. That shit it probably feel like work in the training and all that. But at the end of the day, when you're doing something that you just love, like you just love the sport. So you got your boxers, you got your trainers, you got the people that's involved, you got media, you got all these aspects, you got creators, you know what I'm saying? You got onlookers and you got fans. I'm a fan and a creator. Those are the hats. So I have to balance being a fan and being a creator. So if I don't feed myself being a fan, I'm not going to be able to create. And I just find it interesting, man, when it comes to this one subject, friends in boxing. Friends in boxing is a controversial topic. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down. One, we got to understand this. This is the goal. This is where we got to start at. This is a dynamic duo. His twin, salute Bodywork, salute his twin. I appreciate you. This is a dynamic duo, y'all. Like I don't know if y'all realize it, man, but it's a couple dynamic duos out here. You know what I'm saying? I prefer mine not to be in the sport, but that's what this is now. You know, so we need to not ask these guys, do not ask either one of these guys to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? So if it's almost like shooting your gun up in the air, like that's like a warning. Like you just got ammunition to blow. You know how people just take their shit out and just bow, bow, bow. It's like all that, you know what I'm saying? You might need them. You might need those. So those questions, when those are asked, would you ever, like, you know, don't ask. You frustrate Keyshawn whenever you ask him about it. You frustrate Shakur the more you ask him about it. And for me, I'm like, man, you just blew a question, man. They're never going to fight. They're never going to fight. So when I originally did this, and I say, see, I change along with the times. I change along with the times. I change along with the climate. I keep my finger on boxing, and I can give you the pulse at any given time. Brooklyn hit, salute. Bodywork, salute. I keep my pulse, and I can tell you the climate at any point in time. But at one point in time, this is how I saw these guys. This is how I saw these guys. If you haven't seen if you didn't see the video I did on this one, I said these were the young guns right here. The young guns. Chris and Neef. You know what I'm saying? They were the young guns. That's what inspired that. I said, man, cause they, you know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at them. But when I thought about the young guns, it was like Chris and Neef against the world. You know what I'm saying? And outside the label, when you think about Rockefeller and all that, whatever, and how, you know, Jay-Z, he bit Young Chris style, you know, all up, you know, he just bit that man. He did that, you know, but I'm not going to get into that. I thought these guys were the young guns. It turns out they're Batman and Robin. And the only reason why I have to say that is because if you ask anybody, they're going to default to Shakur being that top guy. And what I be saying is that these guys put us in a pickle when they did this. Then they do this every time. Like a lot of these guys are starting to do this because with them guys having achieved silver medalists and them being the cream of the crop, and that's way, like, because right now the whole concept is Keyshawn is getting pushed because he was a silver medalist, which we all love. Like we appreciate, we admire. Like that's how he got there. But we know Shakur was too. But the reasoning for Keyshawn being saying, for people qualifying, is that man is an Olympian. So that's why he's getting fast tracked and this and that. I'm like, okay, so this is the fast track. As far as like, yeah, like selling out and drawing numbers and drawing the crowd, yes, that's great. I'm like, I was on board. I said, man, it's finally time. I said, this man, Keyshawn, is taking over Top Rank. I had been using this analogy for the longest time. It was okay when it was like, when I was viewing them like this, like y'all two young guns, like, hey, buddy set, buddy moving, like you just, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all two gonna take out everything. Any and everything moving. Y'all gonna take out any and everything moving. That's what y'all aim was. Right? So when I was looking at them like that, I was thinking, okay, y'all gonna take out everything. I don't look at them like that. I look at them like this. I look at them like this. Because it'd be different if they wasn't in the same division. But there's already going to be a problem. And the only reason why I caught on to this one faster and I said, you know what, I'm gonna aggressively speak on this early on is because I seen the same thing with Shakur and Devin. I seen the same thing with Shakur and Devin. That's why I was already rehearsed in this vein of this. I seen the same thing with Shakur and Devin with that buddy shit. They was doing that buddy shit and they was pretty much going after Tank. I was like, hold on, man, shouldn't y'all all be trying to fight each other? No, but see what happened was when Shakur decided he was going to flip the switch, he flipped the switch and he stepped on the gas. Devin and them didn't like it. They, oh my, I can't believe it. You was such a friend to me. How could you? I was just like, dude, like y'all in the sport of boxing. And boxers, that's why I say, man, like the more and more I'm like, yep, I'm out right from the couch. Right from the living room, right from the man cave, right from the couch. I will sit here and I will critique it from afar. Because from day to day and boxer to boxer, they all change standards. They all do this. I was just like, man, damn, how many? When they came down, because I used to ride hard. Took a lot of criticism for Shakur, voluntarily, because I thought that, man, because you know when you go up against the D-Hive, man, like you whack that D-Hive, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to stand on your own too. You gotta be firm in your beliefs. because they believe in the Lord, the good Lord, Black baby Jesus, Black Jesus, what they call him. They believe in him. So when you whack that D Hive, you gotta be ready. So a lot of that, I seen a lot of it. Like a lot of it was going at Tank, a lot of it was going at Shakur, and I was like, okay, well, it kind of was messing me up when it came down to Shakur and Devin, because I'm like, hold on, man. Now y'all creating these things. It's like, okay, so Devin, you the best, but you friends with Shakur, so you can't fight. And Keyshawn, you the best, but you friends with Shakur, you can't fight. And they were all in the same division at one time. I'm like, how does that work? How does that even work? And I think people arrived to the party late when I was already saying that Frank Martin was a 140 pounder. I'm already saying Keyshawn is a 140 pounder. But because, and other people will tell you this, I would not be the only one to say this, but a lot of people have already said, and that's their stance when they speak on Shakur. They say that this dude should have been moved up. That's what my man say every time. My man, whenever we talk about it, my man say, hey, listen, man, this dude, he should have been moved up. He should have this, and that's what I say. He should have been did it. But you know this game is going to be perpetuated going up into 140. Because they're at 35 now, but this is like, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be somebody that's will come out and blindside everybody. And I got a couple names. That I think is going to be right in there. But if especially if one of these guys don't move up from 40 and go to 47 just so soon. If he dig in at 40, it's going to be a problem at 40 soon. It's a problem at 40 right now. I'm not sure if they're going to. I'm going to see how they're going to treat him and what they're going to do with him. But it's a problem at 40. And I don't know if y'all know, but all this friendship in boxing, friendships and friendship in boxing, this picking and choosing, this selective energy that we always have, it's disgusting for one. And for two, it's going to fuck up 140. It's going to fuck up 47 eventually. Mark my words. Mark my words. This friend stuff in boxing is going to mess up with these guys. With these guys and some of the other guys between 35 and 40 and 47, we're not going to see, watch, mark my words. There are going to be like about 3 fights that we're never going to see because people want to be friends when they want to be friends. Because remember, everybody said, the D-Hive said that, oh man, Shakur, he flipped. He just flipped over and he just turned his back. And what kind of friend? You don't need that and this and this and that. When Shakur really did, he did what I think you need to do with somebody like Bill. With somebody like Bill, he did what he needed to do, man. I was one of the ones say, I don't blame you, man, because, somebody like that will get you fucked up out in public. They get to saying this and doing that, and then somebody know what they're doing behind the camera and what they saying. I don't play that game, man. I don't play that game on camera, off camera, on the record, off the record. I don't play that game. Especially if we cool, if we tight, I don't play that game on the record, off the record. Whenever we're around each other, whatever we doing, you better be the same guy you are on the record, off the record. If you telling me some shit I don't want to know or need to know, don't tell me. I don't need to know. But they said that Shakur turned. And I said, well, nah, I don't think Shakur turned. I think Shakur realized that it was a necessary evil and that him and Devin couldn't be friends. Y'all can't be friends. Because at one point in time, it looked like it was Shakur and Devin going that tank. Now it's looking like it's Keyshawn and Shakur going that tank. And what I be saying is, like, what kind of got me looking at Shakur when I started tilting my head a little bit to the side, I started tilting. When my head was on my like when I look at Shakur, I used to look at Shakur straight up and down, 6 and 12. Now my head is kind of cocked over to the 2 when I look at Shakur because it's a lot of selective energy, man. And I'm like, I'm one of them ones I would not fit in with a large mass of group people in a group think tank where everybody I would not fit in. Because when you want some bullshit, I'm gonna be the one saying, nah, man, that ain't right, man. Nah, man, I ain't with it. I'm with it. I ain't with it, man. I'm not affiliated with that. I don't stand behind that. I can take a stance. And a lot of things I started seeing the way Shakur act and the stuff that he was doing and saying. I was like, oh yeah, man. It's just I'm gonna limit my shit to when he get inside the ring. One of my favorite fighters in the world is Shakur Stevenson inside the ring. Inside the ring. Keyshawn is starting to be a lot like he's starting to be the same way, man. When he get inside the ring, he's starting to be there. I still gotta see something. I'm not saying I don't believe in him, but I don't really see how, because me, I'm the one where if like they're liberties, right? And I look at it like this. It's one name. Bills. Boot camp. Salute body. Salute. If Key is the businessman, does he understand that it's never personal, it's business? Mom Davis would tell him family first. Yeah. I'm like, you got 3 brothers, you know what I'm saying? And now like Shakur is your family, and now he called you. I seen that interview. I seen a couple interviews. I seen the interview what he did with Cigar Talk. I seen the interview earlier. This was already in motion, but I said, shit, since I'm getting ready to watch this, I say I might as well watch what he got to say. And I'm just like, man, because I had something totally different. I had my whole thumb. I was going to go live and do a piece on Keyshawn yesterday. I had the thumbnail. The thumbnail was almost done. You know what the thumbnail was? It was Keyshawn like that, like, you know, Atlas, you know, the story of Atlas where, you know what I'm saying, Atlas is on his knee and he got the weight of the world, and I was going to have Top Rank and Norfolk up there on his back. And then it was a flank because it had 2 brothers, and I was going to crop out. I had already started doing it. I didn't know how I was going to tweak it, but I was going to have Kelvin and Keon flanked, and he was going to be Atlas holding it up, and they was going to be putting it on. And the caption was going to be "Last of the Mohicans." I was gonna call it. It had the Warrior. It had like the stadium in the background. Had the stadium in the background. He had Atlas, like it was a statue, but I was, you know, that little face shit I've been doing lately, cropping out the faces and putting them on like out. So I had him on a statue as Atlas with the stadium in the background. I was gonna say "Last of the Mohicans," because I said, you know what, I've been following along. I said I don't agree with everything that Key be doing and saying. I said, but I like the energy. I like his energy at his core. I like how he confronts. I like the fact that he don't deny. He's like, listen, man, they box. I'm a fighter. Like, I'm a fighter. Yeah, I can box, but I'm a fighter. Those are the kind of guys I like. Like, look, man, I'm like, he go in there like, basically, I'm gonna fuck you up. I like them kind of fighters. I love them kind of fighters where they not in there trying to patty cake and pussyfoot around with you. They're trying to fuck you up. If they get hit, they get hit. Oh well. That's what I love about Keyshawn. As far as the politics and the things and the moves and the things that he say outside the ring, I'm about 40%. I'm about 40%. And the reason why I say that is because one day, both of these guys, at some point, we can reason that if we looked at both of these guys, one of these guys are going to be either close to where Tank is or where Tank is, at least where he's at right now. Not saying where's Tank going to be, because he's the name that everybody's calling. He's that guy. He's the guy, because everybody going into their fights, everybody's saying his name. I'm like, why ain't everybody saying nobody else's name? Why they all saying his name? So I'm like, man, everybody needs his name to sell. So at some point, you got to think. As far as the moves that Shakur's making, I'm not sure. He looking like he taking, like, I don't even know if he taking a Bud route, because Bud was undisputed twice. I don't know what route he taking, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. He said he wanted to be undisputed and went and signed somewhere where none of the belts were. I don't know. And then he's scheduled to fight his mandatory next. So that's not, I don't know what route that is. You know what I'm saying? Multi-divisional, all that's great. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what route he's on. I'm not even going to be concerned with that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, when he get inside the ring, he has an opponent on the other side. That's when I'm a fan. Keyshawn, it look a little different. It looked like Keyshawn's going to be more on the path to where, man, he said he's not going to go for undisputed. And he don't think undisputed. I'm like, yeah, because people pick that going for undisputed shit. That shit be real tricky, man. Cause you can say it. You can say it all you want, but then when your moves don't be lining up to where that's where you're trying to go, and can't nobody call you out on that shit, I'm like, man, don't get me caught up in that web, because that's a tangled web that we do weave. Keyshawn, he's basically saying that, look, man, I want the big fights, I want this, but I'm like, what are the big fights? And for me, man, I'm not one of them people, and I stopped rocking with somebody for this. For real. It was a little minute ago now, but I stopped rocking with somebody for this. This motherfucking fair weather fan shit, this shit where you flip and you turn over like a leaf every other week. I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? We all are creatures of habit, but I'm a consistent. I like consistency. I like the same energy. So to me, it kind of, for me, both of these guys they're the silver medalists. They're the silver medalists, right? They both were scheduled to fight guys coming off of losses. You can say what you want about Gustavo Lemos, but he lost. Then when I heard the energy for Richard's Edge, I'm like, so why you got this much energy? So it sounded like it was a little hidden animosity there, like just looking at it. It seemed like it was a little animosity there anyway. Why? Maybe because Richardson, Hitchens, and Shakur was cool at one point in time. That went sideways. Tank and Richardson Hitchens was cool for the longest time, and I think I don't know what the fuck they let happen, but supposedly they not cool, but Tank said, fuck that, ain't no friends in boxing. The only thing they can grab on is that his team said, Coach Kenny said, Abdullah Mason is next. They took that as Tank's words and said, oh man, look at him, oh, he trying to be cool with Abdullah. He ain't trying to be Batman and Robin with Abdullah. He where he at. I applaud Floyd Schofield and his father. A lot more. They standing on their own too. They not going into this shit on no dynamic duo type shit. Granted, maybe he's not ready. Maybe Floyd is not ready for Tank. Maybe he not. He doing what he's supposed to and calling out his name. He doing what he's supposed to by getting up in the rankings. He's doing what he's supposed to by no matter what you think, he's still saying that name, but he's right there next in line. But he's not looking to be friends with Shakur. He wanted to smoke with him too. He out there with that anybody can get it. But when I started looking at Shakur, I said, damn, man, who can we even expect Shakur to actually fight? Because he was friends with Keyshawn. Remember, this is before the whole Devin thing happened. And then look, even after the Devin shit happened, they went back to being on some old, we cool. And like when that shit happened to Devin, it was like, I was like, what? Oh, so y'all cool now again? Oh, man. So we can't even expect that at 40 or 47. We can't even expect to see Shakur versus Devin at 40 or 47. And this is one of them times where I hope I'm proven wrong. I'll eat a whole crow foot live, full of crow, if it happens. But I see Devin, his whole thing was he was brushing Keyshawn off like, oh man, like you know, Devin was the one that kind of had me, like the things he would say and stuff. Devin was kind of the one who first had me look at this shit like they was Batman and Robin. Devin was the first one that started having me look at Keyshawn like, hold on, man. Cause I be poking holes to a lot of shit Devin be saying, but he caught my attention when he said it. When he was talking like, oh man, he just whatever Shakur is on, like he gonna be. I'm like, I was like, nah, Devin, you trying to avoid that smoke, my guy. Because you kind of did the same thing with Richardson Hitchens, my guy. Because Richardson Hitchens was calling out Devin for the longest time, my guy. And nobody was really like Nobody really said nothing. So when the fallout happened, it was a couple people Devin didn't say. Devin didn't say Gary Antoine. Devin didn't never say Richardson Hitchens. So I was like, man, maybe it's that because he thinking that, man, I don't know. I don't know why Devin never really wanted with Hitchens. He been calling out for years. But now I'm getting the same energy from Keyshawn where he got a lot of animosity towards Richardson Hitchens now. And I'm like, for what? So it's green, it's go on him. But you got Cruz. You got Andy Cruz out here still calling you his son, man. Yeah, that's my son. And the energy is like, oh no, tell him to get a big fight. Though. Tell him he ain't. Is he selling out? Well, is Gustavo selling out? Like, I hate when people be doing that because I just let the bosses talk and I just listen to what they say. And a lot of people like, see, when you want to be rocking with them, like if you're cool with me, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to agree with and go with. Like if you're really cool, you're gonna be looking to try to. If you really rock with me, you're gonna be like, yeah, I can see how I can see. But if you put the shit that I'm saying up to the light, you can be like, hold on, Mike. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hold on, man. Like, hold on. Didn't you say? And then I'll have to explain and you'll have to explain. And I'll have to be like, well, it'll be some back and forth. But you're not going to agree with everything. There's some fans that agree with everything that a fighter says and then accuse you of doing what they are actually doing. Like what they're actually doing, they accuse you of it. That happens. So, Abdullah Mason, it's like with Abdullah Mason, like Shakur told Floyd to fight Abdullah. They on two different levels in their career right now. But they'll tell you that Keyshawn and Abdullah is on two different levels right now. It's like, yeah, you would be if you got the medal and they're fast tracking you and he's the guy that's in line still building. Of course they would. But why would it be okay for Shakur to put a roadblock of Abdullah Mason in front of somebody? But then when Coach Kenny said, it's like, oh, you putting up a roadblock. You see how that shit don't make sense when you go from boxer to boxer or from camp to camp? Like it's like I don't know, man. When I say I read into things so much, maybe I do read into shit too much. Because if every time Tank got a fight, you hear Mr. Gary Russell come out, he pop out, he got some shit to say. I'm like, man, that's a crab in the barrel mentality. But for two, when you start seeing like you know how they say if the doctor tell you touch your nose and you say ouch, and you touch your shoulder and you say ouch, and then touch your thumb and you say ouch, or your wrist and you say ouch, it's not your wrist, your shoulder, or your nose, it's the finger. So when I hear like somebody like Jaleel Hackett Favre and what he was saying about what happened with him, and I look at his point of view when it came down to Gary, and then when I heard Lamont wrote Favre and his perspective, and when it came down to Gary, then all the time when Tank Gary have a fight, all the things that Gary and them say and how these people put these strings in they back and they put them out there and they basically, I don't know, man. I don't want to call it what it is, but man, they use them brothers, man. They out there using them brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? For ill-gotten gains, ill-gotten purposes, man. But like when I hear stuff like that, right? But then when the TO question come up, you say, maybe I had to talk to my friend offline because I don't know him like that. Like, ain't that like the weird? I don't know, man. That's just weird to me. Y'all all come up. Y'all all come up in the amateurs together, fighting and then mixing it up and rubbing elbows and, you know what I'm saying, helping each other get ready and do whatever. And y'all close. Some of y'all were friends. Then y'all turn professionals and things do change. But how is it that somebody from your area, I'm talking about, when I say the DMV, I'm talking about the DMV that everybody know. That's pretty much PG, DC, a little like the top part of Virginia, like that little knit area, that's really the DMV at the core, for real. So when you were part of that, how do you have more animosity for somebody from your same area, but then you see a dude who you also know say some racist shit, and it's maybe I have to talk to my friend, pull him to the side and see if that's really what he really thinks. That don't really make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? That don't really make sense to me, but you know, maybe it's not for me to understand, man. All I know is that, man, that was an opportunity to say, hey, I'm at 40, you at 40, let's fight. Can you get it back? Can you get the job done? Can you book the venue? Like, you know, the same shit like when T.O. was saying he had a venue and Devin basically played like he played big ball. You know what I'm saying? He played like he had the big ball and was like, nah, I ain't got, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you ain't no, you a worker, B. You don't have nothing. He's like, yeah, I do. I got the owner right here. He said we could do it right here. We could do it, you know, over here. And Devin played big balls. That's what I'd have been saying. If I was one of them Russells and T.O. said some shit like that and I box and I'm in and around his weight class and he said some shit like that, that's the perfect time to tell your friend, let's fight, and then get in the ring and be unfriendly. That's just the way I think, though. So the boxing be confusing me, and maybe it's not for me to know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's not for me to know or to understand, really. But I don't understand the selective energy with Keyshawn when it comes to Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn when it comes to Tank. Keyshawn, and then I guess what, Abdullah, that's his little guy too. So I mean, so what, Abdullah, so when he go to 35 and 40, it's gonna be all of these like Highlanders. It's like all these Highlanders all in the same, let's just say in the same zip code. Let's just say zip code. Like if you ever seen the movie Highlander. So it's gonna be all these let's just throw out the zip code 20706. Let's just say it was a bunch of it's like 6 Highlanders. They all in the 20706 area code, and we ain't gonna never even see them fight. Do y'all realize that? Unless somebody go Creed, right? They're never gonna fight. They're gonna go up in weight, so they're gonna be at they're 35 right now, and some of them at 40, right? They're gonna go to 47. So between 35 and 47, you know it's gonna be all these Highlanders in that range, and they're never gonna fight. Yeah, it's not gonna get the congregation jumping for joy. It's okay though. It's okay though. I gotta put this down on wax and put a record and stamp it and put a stake in the ground to having this a segment to address it, because going forward, man, when you start talking about certain fights and all that, and if especially if you're talking to me and you start bringing up certain people, I'm like, you can have that one. Go ahead. Yeah, I believe you. Yep. Go ahead. Run right along, because it's gonna be some bullshit. Because they're gonna pour some friendship, some stupid tricky energy to where, nah, man, we cool, man, and then, you know what I'm saying, but then somebody else where it makes sense, it don't make no sense. Allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. You know what I'm saying? Educational purpose, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is for. So many Highlanders. Who is the Kurgan? Tank. You know what I'm saying? This is it. Let's see. Fighters and friendships. Max Boxing is the source by Jerry Fitch. Fighters and friendships. March 29th, 2020. Jerry has made some great friends over the years. Jerry Fitch. You see him? Cleveland's greatest fighters of all time. 50 years of fights, fighters, and friendships. Jerry Fitch. Jerry Fitch, Jerry Fitch. Books by Jerry Fitch. I have to admit that when I first started my boxing journey years ago and began to meet former greats, I had no idea what to expect. Conversations evolved into much more than wins and losses, who was their toughest opponent, and the usual standard questions a young journalist might ask. You see that? And the usual standard questions a young journalist might ask. My best estimate today is that I have met more than 60 world champions and countless contenders and opponents. Some of these men I met in passing at a dinner or a fight, talked briefly, and maybe I never had the opportunity to meet up with them again. Others I ran into several times as I traveled more and more over the years. The fighters I had extended friendships with would include, among others, such men as Jimmy Bivens, Jersey Joe Walcott, Jimmy McLarnin, Tony Zell, Georgie Pace, Joey Maxim, Carmen Basilio, etc. And still others I had extended but more casual friendships, such as Archie Moore, Kid Gavilan, Sammy Agate, Bill Kahn, to name just a few. One of the most amazing things I found in many cases was how kind, gentle, and friendly many of the former fighters were, no matter how aggressive or tough they were in the ring. I have to admit, I never expected that. So it was a wonderful surprise. It turned out to be an experience I would have many times. But I think another surprise was learning how two men could knock the stuffings out of each other, sometimes fight dirty, but after their careers ended, they would meet up at dinners and events, showing the respect and friendship they had for each other. This was true most of the time, with a few exceptions, of course. Archie Moore and Jimmy Bivens fought 5 times and had some personal history that, at least in the case of Archie, was vented in Peter Heller's wonderful book, In This Corner. However, years later, I met Archie and found that bitterness he had at one time was long gone, and he showed nothing but respect for Jimmy. Carmen Basilio was only stopped twice in his career, both near the end of his journey in his professional ranks. Both times they were grueling fights with Gene Fullmer, and it looked like these men didn't like each other. But boxing is not only a sport, it is a business. I witnessed Gene Fullmer and Carmen Basilio together several times, and you could see they liked each other. At times, they acted more like a comedy duo than former opponents. Fighting each other was a business, and when it was finished, they went on with their lives. Other encounters were with fighters such as Kid Galvin and Ike Williams, or Ike Williams and Jimmy Carter. Regardless of the results, who won, who lost, they seemed to be genuine in their respect for each other. Probably no greater example was Tony Zell and Rocky Graziano, who, at least in their first 2 fights, fought like pit bulls, with each winning once. But they spent many years appearing together and were friends. They were involved in many charity events also. Rocky Marciano was undefeated and knocked out most of his opponents, but The Rock was a true gentleman. And seeing former foes such as Jersey Joe Walcott and Ezzard Charles interacting with him showed the same thing: respect and often friendship. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule or every story. I truly believe Joey Giardello and Gene Fullmer never liked each other. This stemmed from their April 1960 middleweight championship fight that was called a draw after 15 rounds. It was a foul-filled bout with many headbutts, and both men till their dying days blamed the other man. And Joey felt he was robbed of the title in that fight, and I tend to agree. One other fighter, former heavyweight contender Lou Nova, would always tell me of how dirty Tony Galento was, how he thumbed him in his eye, and how he lost sight in that eye. I met Lou in 1975 and saw him for at least 10 years during my trips to Los Angeles and never forgave Two-Ton Tony. But in more cases than not, fights turn into friendships. That will always be one of the cherished memories of my years in boxing. Jerry can be reached there. That's Jerry's information. Now that's when that's more of a perspective of when they've already fought. You know what I'm saying? And they become friends. You know, that's when they fought and became friends. I'm not talking about that. That's not the aspect I'm talking about. Is that it? This is the one I want right here. This is the one I want. Boxing news. October 17th, 2023. Friendly fires when friends become enemies only. When friends become enemies for one night only. Marco Antonio Barrera and Johnny Tapia during their featherweight battle at MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas. So I'm telling y'all, man, the era in times is changing, man. When friends get together inside that circle, it can go one or two ways. They either know each other so well it becomes boring, or they just suspend all friendship and they go at each other. Ferdy Pacheco. Friends becoming rivals and fighting one another is nothing new to boxing. When Joshua Buatsi and Dan Aziz stand across from one another inside the ring on Saturday night, their own friendship and respect for one another will be cast aside. How tight the bond is between the two Londoners is unknown, but having trained together, sparred one another, and spent time in each other's company, there appears to be a liking for one another at least. Over its history, boxing has never been short of a storyline and a subplot to help strengthen the sell of a fight to the public. But when two friends come together to try and better the other, what is at stake? Let me get something to drink. Hold on real quick. But when two friends come together to try and better the other, what is at stake is potentially much more than a win or a belt. Boxing News brings you a selection of fights where one night friends or former friends attempted to beat each other up. This is what the greats was doing. July 26, 1971, Muhammad Ali versus Jimmy Ellis. Ali won by a 12th round TKO. The two Kentuckians, they both was from Kentucky, came through the amateur scene together and shared one win apiece after two bouts. With Ellis' professional career stalling, Ali convinced his trainer Angelo Dundee to train and manage his friend. When they arrived in Texas for their bout dubbed the inevitable fight, Dundee chose to work the corner of Ellis, while Harry Wiley, former trainer to Sugar Ray Robinson, led Ali's corner. The greatest dance around picked off the undersized Ellis, who gave away 30 pounds in weight on the night and was stopped in the 12th round. Gave away 30 pounds in weight. That's them right there, Muhammad Ali and Jimmy Ellis. April 7, 1978, Bruce Curry versus Monroe Brooks. Curry won by 9th round TKO. Former roommates and friends, Curry versus Brooks had turned into a light welterweight grudge match by the time they met at the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. The nature of their feud was never fully revealed, but one strong rumor centered around a woman who they both liked In the second round, the more experienced Brooks was dropped by a huge left hook. After surviving the knockdown, both went after one another, but the power of Donald's older brother won the day. With another left hook in the ninth frame, ending matters. Whatever their problem, they unleashed hell on each other in a hidden gem of the 1970s. February 14th, 1987. Man, that's the year my sister was born. Evander Holyfield, my little sister. Evander Holyfield versus Henry Tillman. Holyfield won by 7th round TKO. 3 years earlier, Holyfield and Tillman were part of the great USA team at the Los Angeles Olympics. Wow, you don't say. Where the former won cruiserweight bronze and the latter won heavyweight gold. The two had become great friends. When they faced off as cruisers in the pro ranks, Holyfield was WBA champion and Tillman was #1 contender. Their fight, dubbed the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, proved to be a one-sided affair, with Tillman dropped 4 times in total, including 3 times in round 7 when the bout was stopped. 5 months later, Holyfield attended Tillman's wedding as one of his groomsmen. March 18th, 1991, Simon Brown and Maurice Blocker. Brown won by 10th round TKO. Brown once described he and Blocker as blood brothers. Friends since 1979, the two welterweights fought each other at the Mirage in Las Vegas in 1991. They did it big, son. Fought in Vegas. Blood brothers fought in Vegas. Yikes. The fact was a unification felt secondary to the two men fighting one another 5 years after they said they wouldn't. Read that again. The fact it was a unification. The fact it was a unification felt secondary to the two men fighting one another 5 years after they said they wouldn't. In the captivating action that followed, you wouldn't have believed they were best friends. With both of them continually trying to land knockout blows, Blocker was dropped early in the 10th, but soon recovered. However, Brown, sensing the end was near, showed no mercy, and several jolting shots forced Mills Lane to stop the fight. November 2nd, 2002, Marco Antonio Barrera versus Johnny Tapia. Barrera won by unanimous decision. Johnny Tapia's, you hear these great names. Johnny Tapia's best days were behind him when he fought Marco Antonio Barrera in 2002. It had been 5 years since his electrifying win against Danny Romero at super flyweight. His classics with Paulie Ayala in 1999 and 2000 ended in losses, but Tapia loved and also needed to fight due to the fact personal issues were never far away. The night of April 7, 2001 saw Tapia accompany Barrera to the ring and watch his friend bring Nassim Hamed down to earth. When Tapia walked a bit further and go into the ring with Barrera at the MGM Grand, he gave a good account of himself in defeat. Their friendship did not suffer, however, because of their fight. Barrera classed Tapia as family. Barrera classed Tapia as family. Barrera classed Tapia as familia. And the two men had enormous respect for one another. That was by Sean Brown. This is the last one I'm gonna read. This is not really a read though. This is the last one, and we're gonna chop it up about this. And I'm gonna make my point very clear in what I'm saying. I'm gonna make my point very clear in what I'm saying. This is a forum. This This is a forum right here. This is a forum. Friends that fought, right? Started by Tony. He bleeped himself out, but this was back in September 2020. September 26, 2020. I don't want to include friendships after bouts or rivalries since that's pretty common. But what were some bouts between two fighters that were actually pretty good friends? That's what I was saying. I don't want the ones that be going to become friends, because even when you fight, like you have a good fight in the streets, like you really fight, grow up, like that didn't happen plenty of times, man. You get to tussling over the motherfucker, y'all might, you know what I'm saying, got it in. You know, y'all gonna be, if y'all get that shit off y'all chest, y'all gonna be cool. Not that kind of shit, because that kind of shit happens. But this guy says, William Walker says, Ali versus Ellis. Both had grown up together, fought together as amateurs, sparred together, and finally fought in 1971. They were closer friends, and the fight turned out to be rather pitiful. You could tell that Ali wasn't really trying hard to knock Ellis out. Also, Hasim Rahman and Monty Barrett put up a miserable performance against one another because they were friends and supposedly didn't want to hurt one another. Thirdly, I remember when I watched Griffith Tiger 2, that Griffith commented that he and Tiger were very good friends. The rule in HEMA is that you take it easy on your enemies and batter your friends 3 feet into the ground. I think Earl Spencer's like that, man. First one I thought of. Oh, he said Blocker versus Brown. Yeah. Barrera versus Tapia. Joe Louis and John Henry Lewis were pretty close friends outside the ring, to the point where Lewis was only willing to give John Henry a heavyweight title shot if he promised that he'd retire afterwards. Lewis knew that John Henry's health was deteriorating and that he could use that final big payday before calling it quits. Lewis went out there and finished it as quickly as possible, and John Henry eventually kept his end of the bargain by never fighting again, albeit he tried to renege on his promise to Lewis. Evander Holyfield and Henry Tillman were great friends from the 1984 Olympics, and in 1987, Evander was best man at Henry's wedding. That same year, Evander knocked him out. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all see that? Evander Holyfield and Henry Tillman were great friends from the 1984 Olympics, and in 1987, Evander was best man at Henry's wedding. That same year, Evander knocked him out and absolutely beat the shit out of him. With friends like that, who needs enemies? See what I did there? Frazier and Foster were said to be great friends. It didn't stop Frazier from damn near killing Foster. Lamont Brewster and Callie Meehan. Frazier and Foster was said to be great friends. It didn't stop Frazier from damn near killing Foster. I've never heard that before. That's what they said. But see, that's in the vein of how people think, letting you know that, listen, man, there's people out here, man, it's like kind of, the opinions on this kind of differ. The opinions on this stuff kind of differ. This is my point, though. This is my point to all of this, right? The point I was trying to make about them guys either becoming what Tank is, or because they all gunning for the spot. So if you can get up to Tank and you do, you know what I'm saying, you do what everybody say you, like every boxer say they can do it, right? So you get into that spot. I can't wait to see the energy change when you make it to that spot. Like when you make it to the #1 spot, the reason why I'm gonna get off of this train now. The reason why I'm getting off of this train now is because I'm not going to be able to tolerate the different energy. I'm not going to be able to tolerate the selective energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like, you can't be selective, man. Like, they all Highlanders, man. Like, it can't be, oh, no, that's my friend, or no, man, nah, man. Nah. Not when you're select, like, when I use this example, like, when Shakur wanted to go to 140 to fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Now, he wanted to fight him at 35. But then he wanted to fight him at 40 as well. Both times, Cruz was like, no. But he wanted to go spar Subriel. You see what I'm saying? That's where I'll be. That's where you lose me as a fan. It's like, okay, you would go fight Cruz at 40, but you just want to spar Subriel at 40. But you say you would fight T.O. there, but you left Top Rank and didn't fight T.O. there when you was there. Didn't fight Devin when you was there, because at one point in time y'all was friends, and when y'all turned the corner, he rolled out and he didn't want you, and there's been no talks of that, because now they're cool again. You see how that's a problem when we're trying to find out the best, because in one breath, oh, I'm so ultra competitive, and I can't stand losing. I'm competitive from ping pong to, you know, flipping quarters or and playing games. Like, can't nobody beat me in nothing. But it's all these friends in boxing. And then the energy changed because everybody can say that one name. Everybody can say Tank and Gun for that. And now they're tag teaming. They're tag teaming. It's a dynamic duo now. Not the Young Guns. It's a duo. A dynamic duo. And you got to default to Shakur being the best, because ain't that what everybody say? But ain't it crazy that the two Olympians, the two silver Olympians, we'll never see them fight? Ain't that kind of weird? So I wonder how this is going to work when they both be at 40 and when they both at 47. We're going to see. So I wanted to put this stake in the ground, and we're going to see. And it's not that I'm encouraging for them to fight. I'm just saying we can't be selective. We can't have this selective energy where, because if Mr. Gary Russell is basically stalking Tank, and they all from the immediate, grew up in camp, do all that, like basically, like, you can damn near say they were raised together. Most people from the area, that's how they are anyway, pretty much. Two slightly different ages, younger, older, little age gap there. About 6 years. But T.O. get a pass as a friend? Like, I don't understand, man. Like, I don't understand. So you would talk to T.O. after what he said as a friend. But then you got two friends that wouldn't fight each other for a unification to feed their families. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because when it was one loudmouth on YouTube that was just, they was basically screaming and begging for Jermell Charlo and Earl Spence to fight at one point in time. And I was like, first of all, they're not in the same weight division. And second of all, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest? And now that was the time when they both had Derrick James. I said, now how would that work? But they was pushing it. Like, they had some dum-dums. They put back, because they like to put batteries in people back. They put some batteries and some dum-dums back, and they were running around saying they really should fight. And I'm like, well, how would that work? So at that point in time, I'm thinking, they train all the time, every day together. They're in two different weight classes, but they share the same trainer. How would that work? I was on the short end of the stick in that argument. I was on the short end of the stick because everybody else was with it. And I'm like, that don't make no sense to me. I'm like, that's a conflict of interest. But what is Derrick James going to clone himself and go over? Because at that point in time, I'm like, well, we don't know who these guys are. I don't know who they are without them guys in their corner. We know Juan Guzman was added. Over there with, he started being more incorporated with Jermell. But at that point in time, when everybody was clamoring for it, it didn't make no sense in the world. So now when you got all these guys that's coming up, it's, oh, no, man, we cool. Then you have somebody like Blair Cobbs. He get up and say, listen, man, it's much respect. We done shared the ring. We done sparred before. But let's get it. We cool, but let's get this bread. Oh, man, Blair, he's the clown. He don't want, but he just beat Adrian Broner, who everybody was gunning for. This is what I be trying to say when I be talking about these standards in boxing and conversation. I'm not here to be toxic and, polarizing and divisive. I'm not. I just be trying to follow the standards of these guys. But one day, one of these guys, whether it's Abdullah Mason, Floyd, Keyshawn, one of these guys is going to be in a position if they make it. I think it's going to be somebody that's going to come out of the blue. I think it's going to be somebody that's going to come out of the blue for real, for real. I kind of got my, I think I know who it is. It's going to be somebody that comes out of the blue that nobody expect. And he ain't going to be on no friendship. He ain't on no friendship. It's going to mess up boxing, y'all. And the selective energy, man. I don't do the selective energy, man. Because I'm not going to be backing everything you say and everything you do. Listen, man, you got to understand. Then somebody got to have their backstory and they, how they, nah, man. Like, nah, we don't need all that backstory. We don't need to hear all that bullshit. At the end of the day, there are different standards for different fighters. Because that Tank can't say nobody. He wouldn't be able to say he cool with nobody, and people would say it. They would damn near be outside the fucking New York Stock Exchange with the picks marching around saying that he would have to fight whoever he said was his friend. And if it makes, if somebody in your division, we're going to see how this plays out. Because a lot of these guys are in the same division, they in and around the same way, and there are double standards. Because I said when this came up, I said that this was load management when he picked him. They said, oh man, he's just taking to stay busy. To stay busy for what? For who? He's taking to stay busy for Zepeda. So a champion is taking to stay busy to fight is mandatory. That was a different standard. So a champion who wanted to be undisputed goes to a label where nobody has a belt and signs in record time. That was a precedence. I salute him for picking him. I said when I put that he handpicked him, I had it with a positive connotation because I'm saying that, listen, man, Limos ain't nothing that shit can stick at. This shit could blow up in your face. The people who wrote the article, they said it like he handpicked him as if, oh man, look at who he picked. The people who wrote that article, they were saying that he handpicked him as if he was cherry picking. I'm saying, look, I'm not buying that. What I am saying is that the result of this fight is going to decide how they pay Keyshawn after this fight. They're going to do the Jared Anderson. They're going to do the Jared Anderson. They would do the Jared Anderson, like how everybody like, oh man, he picked Bacoli, he gonna do this and that. And after that, they said, man, why'd you pick him? Same shit they did to Tim Tszyu. Oh man, why did Tim Tszyu do that, man? The matchmakers, man. What's wrong with the matchmakers? It's like, what? What? I was one of the ones saying, listen, man, you don't need to be running around talking about no mental health right now. For what? Because if you lose or you get knocked out or you get skull dragged, they're going to bring that up. They're going to use it against you. That's how vicious the media is. They'll smile in your face. They'll sit you down and have the interviews now, but let you get knocked on your ass bag. They're going to do you just like they act like Schofield actually lost that fight. Because he got knocked down. So imagine this dude. Because they try to make this analogy. They try to say that Tank pulled Ryan down when Tank fights at 35, he gave Ryan an extra pound. But they flip it on him. But with this guy, Gustavo Lemos, he was at 40. He's moving down to 35. I don't have a problem with it because he's a tweener. He's a tweener. He can fight at 35 or 40 pretty much the same because of his size and stature. He can only be a certain size anyway. He might be able to have a little bit more oomph at 40, but then maybe it's a little bit better. Maybe since he might be a little bit lighter, it might help him move a little bit better. That's why he can change levels so fast, and he's so you know, he can switch and he can bring out all his, he can go to the body real quick and then the head and duck. And, you know, he's like Ice Sock Pitbull Cruz with bells and whistles. So I don't care. I don't care. But this is perception versus reality. And we look at everything through a scope. We evaluate, we hold it up to the light. And the reality of the matter is, Keyshawn was getting ready to fight a dude coming off of Shakur was getting ready to fight a dude coming off of a knockout loss, and nobody said shit. Keyshawn is fighting a dude coming off of a loss and moving down. And Shakur was moving somebody up, but everybody was talking about Tank fighting a guy that was at a lower weight class who was a champion. Common denominator is this guy, he wasn't fighting the champion at this time. And when it comes down to this Limo stuff, this is not, you know, we know this ain't no champion, but this guy is moving down from 40. And so the common fan, like the fan that just want to be all whatever, and paint whatever kind of picture, whatever kind of narrative, they're not going to say anything about that. They're going to sit up there and be like, oh man, but you know, he picking a tough opponent. It's like, yes, but see, shit like this with other boxers, do this, y'all crucify him. Y'all crucify him. You can know damn well that's a good fight. Like we know damn well this Limo's fight is a good fight. And yes, for him to pick that guy, you have to know it's somebody else on the list. You have to know that the other two guys or the three guys that was on the list are not as good as Limo's. That's the context of everything. They're not as good as Limo's. So for him to say, I want Limo's, it's not quite like Jared saying, I want Bacoli, because that's heavyweight. That's a whole different animal. But it's the same thing in a tough opponent. So he did pick a tough guy. But but by the letter of the law, like how it all looks, like no, like in the grand scheme of things, y'all be cooking the shit out of somebody else if that was them. They was getting ready to do it. They were trying to say, listen, the connotation between this fight, because listen, this is the double standard, y'all. This is the double standard. Let's just say when Tank was getting ready to fight Ryu. Well, they said the rumor was that Tank wanted Ryu with 35. They said, oh man, here go Tank trying to do that. What's the difference with what Keyshawn doing right now? With a guy who just fought at 40 going down to 35. What's the difference? They gonna say, oh man, Limo's, man, he beat Richardson Hitchens, but they tell you Richardson Hitchens ain't nothing. Which is a lie. A lie. But what's the difference? They'll say, oh man, Tank always doing that. No, he don't. But what's the difference? You know what the difference is? Even if you were to pick Ryo, guess what? Ryo is a champion. So you move these goalposts and you change these standards. Like, listen, man, if it ain't no friends in boxing, it ain't no friends in boxing. And all this selective energy about who you want and like this looking behind me and can this person sell that much? It's like, no. Once you do that, you put yourself in a whole different category. And I'm like, man, we'll see, man. It's a lot of pressure. I hope Keyshawn is focused, man. It seems like all it takes is for a little somebody to say a little something in his ear. He'll get a little whatever. But like right now, I would say as far as people in the image and what they're having them put out, I wouldn't have done it. I'd have been on some other shit. I would have promoted him in a different way. But who am I? You know what I'm saying? And he's done it on the big stage. He got a silver medal. A lot of people can't say they did that. So we appreciate that. I just think that sometimes less is more, man. Less is more. Especially if it's already sold out. You can't put more people in there that can fit in there. So like saying salacious things and stuff like that, I don't really think it's not going to bowl well. All it's going to do is give people more fuel if this fight goes sideways. Which it probably, it can. I think in spurts, because I think that them Argentinians we learned from Brian Castano, Brian Castano, that's the latest one. And they're tricky. They're tricky. You know, you wouldn't believe it, but Castano, like, he was piecing the shit out of Lara, man. Now Lara is a different kind of box. I'm not comparing Lara to Key, but them Argentinians are tricky, man. They got this rhythm, man, and that level changing, man. I mean, it's something to that style that they got, man. That, you know, when your gas tank get low, man, they crank it up. You know, and if they get you in trouble, man, they can hurt you. They can hurt you. But I'm not gonna be one of them guys that's gonna be moving along with all of these different caveats and, oh no, I can't do that, and oh, he didn't sell this, and because once you do that, that's just like right now, like calling for a Frank Martin. Why would you be calling for a Frank Martin when you could have fought Frank Martin? But then again, then people would have said, oh, well, Frank coming off of a knockout loss. Well, Cordina was coming off a knockout loss. So what my point is this. This is my point. Some of these guys, man, y'all give these guys some passes that y'all don't give everybody, man. We're starting to develop some relationships and some attachment to some things. We're starting to develop some norms in boxing, man. These, like, some of the abnormal things in boxing is starting to become normal now. But there is no caveat. Can you know what do Andy Cruz having to sell out? What did that got to do with him? What that got to do with anything? When there's history. So it's no to him, but it's a full green light on Richardson Hitchens. I don't be understanding. Richardson Hitchens getting ready to fight a champion. And he doing it under the IBF. And he's fighting in his weight class, 140. I think he's come a long way. He's built himself up brick by brick by brick. He didn't have it easy. He didn't get the best promotion over there with TMT. He was one of the success stories coming over there with Matchroom. Because if you look at Sabril Matias gets lost to somebody like Liam Paro, and they dropped him. So for me, man, I you know, when it comes down to people wanting to talk, I realize a lot of people just be like doing this right here. They just be talking. You know what I'm saying? Because that energy be real selective. The energy be selective. And if we're gonna get down with this, man, just know that, like, when you set a precedent, it's like everybody getting mad at because they say that Tank is doing what Canelo was doing. All right. Well, get ready for this. It's about to be a whole bunch of dynamic duos out this motherfucker that's in and around the same weight class. And because they put it like that, they're never going to fight. And it's going to fuck them up. It's going to fuck them up until one of them hit rock bottom or something crazy happen, and then they need it. And then, you know, then it's going to be on. But right now, this is the standard. One boxer, you can't have a hit man. You can't be like, hey, I'll let my little guy handle you, and I'll do this, and I'll do that. Because now you're family members. It's like you already got 3 brothers. And it's almost like Shakur calling the shot. Because Shakur, he wasn't fighting, but he got the hee ha ha against Floyd. With Floyd standing on his own. Floyd talking shit to Tank. Floyd talking shit to Keyshawn. Floyd talking shit to Shakur. I can respect that. You can say what you want about how he need to polish it up. He rough around the edges. He'll get knocked out. I respect the fact that he's standing on his own too. He ain't in the shadows of nobody. And he's not being selective. Whether he's ready or not, he's being consistent in pursuing what he wants, and he's there in the rankings. Nobody's got nobody. He's saying that Moritaya is behind him. Shakur said the same thing. So that's why. So when people talk about certain boxers and they have this expectation, they have this and this and that, it's like you don't hold your own fighters to those expectations. So there's too many, like the friend shit. That's you can have friends. In my opinion, you can have friends, whatever. It's not my. I can't stop you from having friends. I'm just saying the way we look at it is like this. We recognize behaviors. We know when the energies be different. We know fighters and content creators and people with microphones, they create these different standards, right? They create all kind of different standards, and they let people just slide by and do this and this and that, and they take the path of least resistance on the backlash that they might face for telling the truth. And some of us that can't help it, we're gonna tell the truth, because I don't be with a lot of the moves. Why? Because they be double standards. They be double standards. So I wouldn't have used this episode to put a stake in the ground and say, listen, man, this is right here. This right here in selections like this. Because you got to think, they both chose guys coming off losses. They both did. The things that they're doing, because they are the silver medalists, they are the ones that set the standards. Because that's what everybody used. Oh, man, that guy, he was silver medalist. It's like, okay, Tank, he didn't do it like that. And they say he ain't fight nobody, and he was built up, and he did this. It's like, well, damn, y'all act like Tank ain't do shit, but y'all gonna want to be in his spot, and we're gonna see how y'all handle that pressure when y'all get in that spot, if y'all able to do it. It's gonna be a whole different standard, because Keyshawn's already doing it now, and I hate that I'm the one saying it, but he's already doing it now. He's already doing it now. He's saying, why Andy Cruz? Like, we not gonna. Why would I look back? Why Raymond Moritaya? Why? Because you friends with one of the best guys in boxing. You can't fight him. Abdullah Mason, your friend. Y'all all gonna be in these same. You're just creating these pockets and being selective in who you do want to fight, who you don't. It make no sense for y'all to be all over there on the same label and don't nobody want to fight Raymond Moritaya. And then people saying, who is Tevin Farmer to get another shot to be able to? Tevin Farmer's actually fighting. He fighting Moritaya and then Zepeda. Tevin Farmer coming back off of inactivity, making a lot of people look bad. A lot of people look bad. But it's different standards depending on how you want to look at it. People hide and say, oh man, that's just some promotional gangbanging. It's like, no, because he's one of my guys, but he over there at Matchroom. He's one of my guys, but he at Top Rank. He one of my guys, he would what? He would GTD? So what that mean? This is me though. I keep the same energy. I hold them all. I put them all up on the scale. Salute, Pop. If you drop the link, I got some info for the conversation. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna put it out there. But I be saying, man, let's keep the same energy, man. I love what Keyshawn is doing. I do not want this message to get misconstrued. I like Lemos. I think that that article kind of was like that article I read a while ago. That article was like, man, they making it look like he handpicked him, like that's a bad thing. Like, no, he handpicked him because that's a great opponent. But it's also showing you that there's a double standard, because everybody know and think that he beat. Well, a lot of people say they believe he beat Richardson Hitchens, right? But they give Richardson Hitchens no credit, because at the end of the day, Richardson Hitchens beat this guy. So this guy is coming off of a loss. But if it was another fighter, he could never fight nobody coming off of a loss. He definitely couldn't fight nobody coming off of a knockout loss. He definitely couldn't say, hey, this is my friend or this is my family and we're never fighting. He would never get away with that. You see what I'm saying? That's what I be trying to say. Like when people be saying, oh man, it's the Tankomaniacs and it's the, no, it's like, no, we got to call that shit all the way across the board. The shit T.O. doing, you got to stand up and say, no, man, like, no, you can't do that. Claggett with 7 losses, then you talking about Tank, somebody ducking you? So I think Keyshawn is on an excellent path. I just hope that he stays and he has tunnel vision, man. He don't let these people in the media who always want to call him and get him up. Because sometimes I think that it ain't until hindsight that he see what be getting done. Because they'll have you go out there and say a whole bunch of shit, and when people actually listen, they be like, hold on, man, I'm confused. Oh, anyway, let's move on, carry on. That's what they'll do. I don't do that. I'm like, hold on, man. Nah. I'll be hypocritical if I was like, nah, I like the shit inside the ring, but I'll be hypocritical if I didn't say nothing about this or that. You know what I'm saying? I think that if he stays on this path, he do Limos, he keep that shit going that he got with the Vargas brothers. He go ahead and get Baranchak. Now, Baranchak, this shit might come with a dance with Morataya. People trying to smooth it over, but I'm trying to figure out how they're going to make that shit happen. But it might happen with a dance with Morataya. Even though I think Loma might be the most likely that will fight Morataya. He's probably out of all them guys, Loma is probably the only one. And then after he do Limos, after he get Baranchak by means of Morataya or however he's going to fit in the mix, and then going for T.O., that's legacy. That's like, man, that's big boy shit. That's big things. But as far as these standards and stuff that we keep with these different boxes, man, we got to clean it up. That's pretty much what I had, man. I asked that y'all support the channel, man. Support the channel, man, because I'm a ghostwriter, man. I'm a ghostwriter. I need some. What up, AC?
Salute, bro. Salute. Great cook.
Salute, man. Salute, man.
Amazing cook. Basically, what I just wanted to chime in with is just looking at the landscape of everything, the state of boxing, state of politics, the whole nine. Just put it all together. Just the state of humanity and how these two things are pinnacle to where humanity actually is right now. At least just here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have an old psychiatrist, Gustave Le Bon, right?
Mm-hmm.
He talked about something called the mass psychosis, how this destroys civilizations, how this destroys countries and things like that. Now, just the definition of how he breaks it down in his quote is, the masses have never thirsted after truth. They turn aside from evidence that is not to their taste, preferring to defy error. If error seduces them, whoever can supply them with illusions is easily their master. Whoever attempts to destroy their illusion is always their foe.
Dang. That's deep, bro.
It's right on time. It's iconic. It's the core of me always saying perception is reality. That's where that shit comes from. That's the core of it right there, because where we are as just people and just trying to get through the day-to-day masses and saying, you know what, this boxing thing is an entertaining outlet for myself. It's a hobby if I want to become a content creator. Now, even in that, there are pitfalls.
Yes.
Because whatever side of that mass psychosis you're on is crazy. Because until you have the ability to step outside the psychosis, you have no idea that you're actually in it.
Yes.
Because you keep feeding yourself different things, and when the mind starts to tell you something is in error and the evidence is right there in front of you, you will reject it because it's not to your taste. It's too sour to swallow. No ugly truths on this side.
Yes. It's like on the Matrix when he said, man, I know this is not steak, but it tastes so good. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, it's like, you know it ain't, you know, but then I get it. But somebody gotta, you know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta put the, you know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta come out and maintain the tracks for the train. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta come out and do that. You know what I'm saying? They gotta lay them things down. They gotta make sure there's nothing bolted down and the gravel is out there. And ain't nothing laying out. Like somebody gotta come clean that shit up. It's an ugly job, but it's a necessary evil.
It's exactly. Even if you've never seen the man or people who remove the tree debris after a storm on the train tracks or heat up the tracks, you know, to clear the snow after a major snowstorm.
Yeah.
You know it's there because the train went from point A to point B.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? So the question always is understanding shit at the remedial level. The critical thinking aspect of it. Damn, yesterday it was a really, really bad snowstorm. How did this train go from here to there without ever stopping or slowing down? Who cleaned the tracks? Who did that?
Somebody had to get ahead of it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Be up early.
Yep.
Doing the shit you don't want to do.
Yep.
Finding the evidence.
Yep.
So when we look at where people buy into these concepts, where fighters, you know, buy into the concept that, oh, listen, in this era, you know, I don't have to fight my friend. Why not?
But hold on. I'm sorry. I'm glad you said that because I want this. I'm glad you said that because this is what I wanted to be known. That's not my issue. Like that's a thing where it's like, no, I don't buy into that, but that's not it. It's because you're saying that, and then when it comes to this guy, it's like, well,
exactly.
Can he sell out 11? You can't have all of those caveats. You can have one or two.
Yeah.
You can be like, that's family. Okay, that's cool. But then you can't say this nigga that whoops your ass all them times is like, who is he? He needs me. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Because we wanted Devin to give Loma a rematch. We wanted Loma to give Gary Russell a rematch. Like, you know, we kept that standard. So we want we want you to avenge that Olympic thing. Like, so no, you don't have the right to look back at him and then little boy Abdullah and then say Keyshawn ain't ready and then that's my friend. You can't have all those caveats. I understand one or two.
Yeah.
That's my main point. I'm glad you said, because I didn't want that to get lost in the translation. That's my thing.
So you asked the question, okay, we're on this train. You want all of these caveats. So who cleans the track so we can get from point A to point B? You want all of that. Oh, you want all that debris on the tracks. So how does the train get from point A to point B then? Because that's a lot of debris you put on the tracks, my friend. So I'm a person who says this. If you're in the hurt business, keep your friends. Your best friends should be people who are not in the hurt business because you're bound to get into a fight. Because you can't put two dudes who are murderers in the room and have them have a conversation. Two dead ass killers can't necessarily sit there and have a debate. Somebody's gonna die.
Listen, we
Like you
couldn't
said.
we couldn't have on my team, we couldn't have more than like 4 running backs. Some one of y'all got to go. Like we gonna, you know what I'm saying? We gonna damn near kill each other. When I'm playing linebacker, I'm trying to kill your ass. You touch that rock, because I should be running the rock. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just
the
is what
point.
it is.
That's the point I'm making. It's like, listen, you a killer, I'm a killer. How do we exist in the same room together? When whoever walked through that door, I want to kill him just like you do. How do we do this? Either we gonna get the motherfucker who walks through the door, or we gonna wind up going at each other. Because it's gonna come a minute that if we ain't doing no killing, we ain't happy.
Right. Right. And then the other side of it is, I you know, I say this every week, in which I don't mind that they saying the guy's name. I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm like, who else is going to make, because he didn't get a medal. He didn't go. He got out the mud and did what he needed to do inside the ring and built his profile and earned his way up to where he's at, to where any and everybody, they didn't put. I told you one time, I got to go back and find this interview. It was this dude. This dude is almost like, I swear he in the 40s. He's like 40 and old, but when you look at his record, he's fighting people that's like 3 and 23 and all. He done did this all the way up to 4. The dude, Zit, I'm gonna call him the great value Ashton Kutcher. Great value Ashton Kutcher actually sat down with this man and had this man calling that man out. I said, man, come on, man. So in one breath, all of these guys can say that and move like that, but none of them have no expectations to become something formidable, something like that you can do on your own without attaching it to that.
Yeah. And that's the problem when you're in the mass psychosis. Because the mass psychosis will sweep you up and say, yeah, you the baddest motherfucker on the planet, man. You got, listen, your next fight, if you ain't pound for pound, something wrong with the game. And you fighting a guy who's just coming off a knockout loss, and that's going to be the fight that makes you a pound for pound killer.
But even with that, it was like nobody said nothing, and I didn't rake him over the coals. I just said, man, that's you know, I called it load management. I said, man, that's load management, man. We know what you're capable of, bro. We know, okay, that's an easy one. We know that's a softball for you. You know, even though we like that guy. But yeah. I said that was load management. I didn't rake you over the coals. But I'm like, why did this man get raked over the coals and the guy he had was a champion? That's that double standard shit.
Yeah, that's
I don't win either way by pointing it out, but I'm gonna point it out because that's what I do. But then the other thing is this. When I came out and I did the somebody got rid of it. But this guy right here, let me see. Is he in this one? Second guy from no, that's a Peta. He ain't make it. I don't know why Moritaya ain't make it, but when Moritaya did what he needed to do, it was crickets this weekend, and everybody jumped on Floyd. But you didn't want Floyd. You said that Mason Abdullah should handle that. But why was it crickets with Moritaya? Like, why nobody say, "Oh man, I beat shit down his leg," or "I do nothing"? It's the same thing that would happen when with Murtaza Aliyev. It's like nobody, it was crickets. Like ain't nobody saying nothing. Everybody said, "Oh, it's bad matchmaking for Zoo," and ain't nobody want no smoke. It's like, man, if I see Al, that's just how I think, man. That's how I think. You cannot, no, we not, we gotta see. You gotta play me. You gotta see. We're gonna box. We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just I pointed out because this is just one, like you said, this is just a splinter of the psychosis. This is one of many things that are going on that people pick and choose that when they want to address it. It's like, no, y'all can't be Batman and Robin. Why? Because y'all gonna be at 140 together pretty soon, and y'all definitely gonna be at 47 pretty soon because everybody waiting for Boots to move out of 47, and a bunch of people from 40 gonna go up to 47. A bunch of 35s gonna settle in at 40 where they really should be. And what? We can't expect or ask for those fights?
Yeah, because it's the same energy syndrome. Motherfuckers run from it, but god damn it, as soon as it's convenient, listen, I can't talk to you right now. I'm drinking my amoxicillin and my cup of tea because I got that same energy syndrome right now. I'm sick. It's that same energy syndrome. For real. For real. So it's like, bro, come on, man. This shit can't be convenient when you need it. It's not a tool you run to the toolbox to get to fix the situation and you call it, yeah, give me that same energy tool. The 3/16th one. Yeah, that'll fit this screw right there. I gotta listen. From Black and Decker, they make a whole big ass same energy box. You could fit any same energy tool you need. you feel what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, these shits is not the same. When we talk about same energy, we're not saying it because we're using it as a talking point. We're telling you because the shit is a fact. We're asking you to keep the same energy. You cannot be mad at Tank. And if you are going to be mad at Tank, you should be equally 3 times pissed off at Shakur. And how do you turn around and say Tank should be held responsible because he's fighting Lamont Roach? Okay, let's look at how he got there. First, it was Loma. Then it was Shakur. Then there was even talks of Zepeda. And then he landed on Roach, who's a champion. So he had 3 guys on that list who were champions. Well, I still ain't seen the list. Okay, so if he went after 3 guys, what is there you need to see to show you that he was going after big names and making big moves? Nah, that's different because y'all just gotta hold that man. Y'all gotta hold that man accountable. Okay, so what about let's hold Shakur accountable for fighting Cordina? What do you mean? Who else was he supposed to fight?
Right.
What do you come on, man? Where do y'all get this shit from? Who was he supposed to fight? Okay, so who was he gonna fight? Well, what happened to the offer from Tank? We ain't never heard nothing, but Shakur couldn't pick up that phone and be like, yo, yeah, what's good, homie? It's been a couple of weeks. Anything really happened on the negotiations, or let me contact my lawyer, since whenever it comes down to it, Shakur has the convenience of saying, listen, I wasn't involved in the negotiation. It was mostly my lawyer. Oh, okay. So how do you expect the guy to make a big fight when he's not even involved in the negotiations? But y'all cook every other fighter that he wasn't even involved. He was doing this. How he gonna make a fight when he was on vacation? Wow. Okay. This is what we mean by same energy, because you got plenty of energy for fighters, for the hate level of fighters who want to challenge your favorite fighter. You're going to tell us how they fuck up so often. Yo, yesterday I saw that nigga step on the crack and broke his mother back. Fuck are you telling me? He don't deserve that fight. He out here, you feel what I'm saying? But at the same token, your favorite fighter finds a dime on the corner. Yo, that nigga, yo, he's the greatest thing in the world. He had found a dime on the corner and threw it in the well of Make-A-Wish, bro. You don't get, that's the people's champ. And it's like, my guys, can we stop this bullshit? I mean, y'all niggas suck people that hard. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of weird ass way you can get pregnant off that shit.
Cause look, cause even in real life, like back in the day, like your homie be like, man, I remember that dime, man. Yeah, man, she hit me up. You like, oh, for real, what's going on? When you gonna link up? He's like, well, she ain't called me back. What you gonna tell that motherfucker?
Nigga, why ain't you calling her if you got a number?
Bingo! You know what I'm saying? But there ain't no energy for that. It ain't no energy for that. And then if you point that, oh, here you go. Here we go.
Why would he call him? Why would he call him back when your man is the A side? Why would he call him when the B side ever call an A side back or during negotiations?
And that's what I say. I say, look, This guy, the guy on the far right, he might be the A side, but you trying to tell me that the guy on the far left ain't the A side to ain't the A side to everybody right here? Everybody right here?
He's the Kurgan. Everybody's trying to get their weight up so they can challenge the Kurgan. The last man standing gets to challenge the Kurgan. That is Highlander if I've ever seen a real life example. That's why I immediately typed what I typed when you brought up Highlander. Because it's like every time either one of these guys fight, there's this section of each one of their fan bases says, well, what about Tank? They bring Tank's name up. So Tank is the Kurgan. You're all fighting for supremacy, so one of you niggas is good enough to fight Tank, the Kurgan. Because if he takes control of the division the way he wants to, it's all hell breaks loose. Pure evil is unleashed upon the earth. So I just gotta laugh. And once I seen that shit that I saw this morning, I was like, wow. If that isn't the most relevant thing I've seen in 2024 going into 2025 and 2026, everybody's under a mass psychosis, or a good population who chooses to be there. So y'all could have that psychosis shit. I'm gonna keep my ass on the outside. I'm gonna think the way I think, and you feel what I'm saying?
You know what I was on it. I could have easily came out with it because it's the same thing in the vein of the bread and circuses that we're talking about. Like the bread, you know, it's that same thing. You know, to keep the masses, occupied and shit. You know, that's really what it is. And there's a lot of people that say they're fans, but they're not. They encourage stuff that's gonna be the demise. Like they're big up in novelty boxing. I'm like, man, don't you know? And I'm not. Look, get your bread, and they do some good things for the females and all that. But I'm like, the behaviors we encourage and the things that the riots we incite about what we incite them for is counterproductive to the sport lasting. And all it does is set a precedence, because there was a lot of things that some of these boxers did in real time, and I spoke on in real time, and I said, all right, man, I said, look, this ain't my standard, but if y'all say this is how y'all rock, and I said, when the next person do it or they start moving like that, don't be mad. And Eureka, what are we seeing?
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest things with Keyshawn. I was like, bro, please tell me you just didn't say you're not gonna fight this man because y'all cool like that. You feel what I'm saying? Please don't say that. And y'all all gonna exist in the same division. Like, bro, I'm rocking with 90% of what you saying. The reason why I ain't on board 100% is because that one thing right there.
Yep.
That takes 10% away from where you could be and where you should be.
I told you I got the thumbnail. I got the thumbnail that I was going to do yesterday for the video I was going to do yesterday. I had the whole thumbnail with Atlas, with him being Atlas. And I was like, man, I said, man, Key, he is doing his thing. And I had nothing. Then I started looking at all these different interviews he doing. I said, oh, man, the same thing as that Pop saying. Key needs to show out this weekend and stop talking. That's what I said, man. It's like they made these guys feel like they got to promote. And because there is no tact in it, no guidance. It's just, it's almost like do it style Wills. Like, it's almost like that. Like, yeah, you can say whatever you want. I'm definitely not going to take away your freedom of speech. I'm just saying that, just like I was saying with Schofield and his opportunities and how he can't afford, because just like all these other cultures, no matter what happened, like Gustavo Lemos can get knocked out. All them Argentinians, the next time he have a fight, they're going to show up. Yeah. Just like with Tim Tszyu. When the Australians get behind him, Tim Tszyu, yeah, he might have got stopped, but all them Australians are gonna show up. We get knocked. Look at what happened with Floyd. People actually went to the extreme and say he lost, but his stock might have took a hit, but it didn't change him. But we don't have that luxury, bro. Like, sometimes we need to watch what we say and do, because they'll use like that mental, like all that mental health stuff. If he go in there and get knocked down on his ass bad, they're gonna be like, well, yeah, he said, and that's gonna be a talking point. Why? It should have never been at that point.
Yeah. Look,
that's something for your documentary or something, like to keep, like, you know, no, because listen, this is the other thing. It triggered me because when it came down to this, let me show you. Let me see if it's still in here. When it came down to this, and I was saying April for all up to the build, I said, man, this is April Fool's, man. And Ryan came out with that mental health shit. People said, oh man, he already a head case. And his argument was, I'm just speaking on it from a stance of mental health. You know, I mean, people need to. And he started talking about all that weird shit. I said, man, that ain't the time, bro. Like this thing is like a circus. I kept saying, yeah. And then look what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so I'm not the YouTube police. I'm not the boxer police for sure. I'm just a fan and make content, and these are the things that I'm seeing, and why I can't be fully on board with a lot of them. And I'm just enjoying the sport. I like them guys. Once they say, ding, ding, ding. You know what I'm saying? I'm right there with the pom poms. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. But I was gonna say, listen, look at the way UK came and did the Garden for AJ. They were singing Sweet Caroline in Madison Square Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Fury brought the same song to Las Vegas when he fought Deontay Wilder. Sweet Caroline.
Mm-hmm.
People got to understand, when you have a country and there's tradition behind what you do, you know what I'm saying? These type of things make it difficult for you to beat that guy on that night. These are dynamics that go into it, because you have a hometown. You have a state that's behind you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the entire USA behind Keyshawn Davis? Not at all. Is the majority of Argentina behind Gustavo Lemos and every other fighter that from Argentina that may have an opportunity of getting a belt and bringing that prestige home? Yes. So this is the dynamic between American boxing and boxers that are coming over from overseas, and this is what we live for, because it's like, can you step up to the challenge? And Keyshawn, if you're not realizing that this is part of the challenge, you feel what I'm saying? You got to take the fight out of that man and then silence the crowd, because they're gonna be in the house. They're gonna be in the house. You know what I'm saying? And they might be the loudest motherfuckers in the house. You know? So it's what we tune in for. At least that's part of the dynamic that I tune in for. I'm like, yeah, this you got a tall task in front of you. And now you also have to fight public perception.
Yeah, we like less than 48 hours out, man. So
yeah.
I got positive vibes for him. I hope he do his thing. I hope what I seen in these interviews and the stuff he's been saying, I hope it don't seep into the to that night. Now, I do think that he said some good things, and I like how he said that how he was keeping himself away, like he was away. He started telling his people to just text him, and that's what he was saying on the cigar joint.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was having people just text him, and he did go over the whole having a baby thing and how that's different and whatever. So he said a lot of good things. I just think that the next 48 hours, man, everything that's said and done, man, it's a critical time where maybe you need to just cancel out the noise. You done gave everybody what they needed. The ticket's gonna do what they're gonna do, and just concentrate on winning this thing, man. Don't lose it in the media.
Yeah,
thinking that you got to live up and prove to everybody this and that. No, you got to go in there and withstand all of them people looking at you, because it's like like the allegory when those tablets, when he came down off Mount Sinai with them tablets, and all them peoples was down there They wanted some meat. They wanted some food. They ain't want no
Yeah.
good word. You know what I'm saying? They wanted something to put in their bellies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they want to eat. They in the fans, they want their pound of flesh. That's the key.
Yeah. And you here's the biggest part, bro. I don't know when it's going to hit you, and even if it's going to affect you. But at some point, maybe it happened already, or maybe it's happening tonight as I speak, or going into the time right before you step in the ring. You got to remember the dynamic of whose shoes they want you to wear, whose torch they want you to pick up. You feel what I'm saying? So at some point, that's a big stage to step on, at least coming from the hometown's perspective. Some of these other guys, they don't have that, even though they may have a whole country behind them. You feel what I'm saying? They're looking for the first. You're coming from the perspective of, Pernell Whitaker, Sweet.
Yeah.
This is who they want you to fill those shoes. They want you to fill Sweet Pea shoes in this fight.
Yes. Excellent point, brother.
So it's like, bro, I hope it hit you already, and you've already made that realization, because if it happens between the next 72 hours, that could be a mental factor that has you watching tape and being like, they really want me to live up to this guy? The fuck, I gotta go out there and do something different now. And that's where it's like, no, you don't. Just go out there and be Keyshawn. Keyshawn Davis is Keyshawn Davis. Pernell Whitaker is Pernell Whitaker.
Yep.
Regardless of how much they want you to wear his shoes. Listen, I just don't wear that size shoe. It's just that simple. I have to run my race. Pernell Whitaker, great fight. I take nothing away, and I love the fact that you guys are comparing me to him. But could I ever be the next Sweet Pea? No. Why would I want to be? That legend deserves. When you say the name and you're done saying the name, that's where it begins and stops. And then you turn around and go do some do some research on him, and then you'll appreciate him for him. Because I don't want a legend like that to be forgotten. Yep. I dedicate this fight to Sweet Pea, but I don't want to be Sweet Pea. And just leave it like that. People will be like, that's some mature shit. I like the way Key just shut that down like that. I like that. That's where Dev fucked up.
Yep.
You want to be the next Mayweather. Now you see him, Dev dollars and all of this other stuff, showing off chains, and it's like, Dev, you're not Floyd Mayweather. You're not that guy. You have no Emmanuel Augustus on your resume. A fight that you can admit I was scared because the guy was that good. You don't have that. You don't have a Ricky Hatton on your resume. So how the fuck are you gonna say you're the next Floyd Mayweather? I'm rocking with you, Dev, but don't do shit like that. Don't fall into that. And then he fell into it, and I was like, maybe it's just a young thing. And as fight fans and shit like that, let's stop automatically saying, he's the next this, and that. No, he's just him.
Yeah, that's always been a pet peeve of mine, man. I can't stand that shit to a certain extent. It's like I get that that's what you want, and he might give you that. That's why I think the whole thing with the Roy Jones and the boots thing, it's like, well, I mean, shit, by this age,
Roy was 27.
By 27, having that side, man, come on, those you talking about some shoes? Think about we talking about Keyshawn and Pernell, and then Boots and Roy, man. Like, come on, man.
Devin Floyd. I'm like, bro, y'all niggas is tripping.
Like, you know, like, yeah, man.
For real, like, I mean, come on, man. Like, Chavez had to tell Canelo, you not like me, bro. You not like me. I didn't duck niggas like you do. I mean, I'm not gonna say it like that, but he told them, like, listen, I don't avoid fighters. Whether you Mexican, whatever, I didn't avoid anybody.
Hell, even Ryan and Oscar. You can say what you want about Oscar now and the pantyhose and the cocaine, but shit, resume and mano a mano and fighting, man, Oscar was special.
Oh, hell,
I'm not saying that Ryan ain't special, but like the feel the shoes and trying to, you know, force these round pegs in the square holes, you know, it's like, come on, man, no.
Yeah, like, that generation was that generation.
Right, those were
let
them
guys.
Guys
be them. You feel what I'm saying? You saw what happened to Terrell Biggs. Y'all compared him to Muhammad Ali, and what Mike Tyson do when he got his hands on him? Knocked him smooth the fuck out.
They said that, man. I knew when that one community said that Wilder, because they said they the same ones who said Devin was better than Sugar Ray Leonard, and then they said that Wilder was better than Muhammad Ali. I said, man, boy, crazy. Like, I'm like, all right, y'all, man, all right, then, you know,
yeah, like, bro.
Exit stage left. I put my hand up like when you know when you used to be in church and you put your hand up and you duck down, going to the bathroom. I'm out.
Yeah, like, you know what, teacher? Can I get a special hallway pass? For real, because these niggas done tripped and bumped their head. I was a huge Wilder fan, but I have not one point in my life I've ever said he's on Ali's level. I said the thing I like about Deontay Wilder is the fact that he's so unconventional. The guy can lose literally every fucking round he's fighting, but if you give him that 2 split second that Mark Breland taught him how to do, the fight is done. And that's where I leave it, because it amazes me watching a guy get his ass kicked for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds straight and just put you to sleep in one shot. Like, boom. Like, damn, all of that hard work went for nothing. And I said, listen, if he get in there with some of the top guys, do I think he wins? It all depends. But there was one fighter I always said, once I saw when Tyson Fury had hair, and I don't remember what fight it was, but Tyson Fury is on the outside and he's causing a whole bunch of ruckus outside of the venue, and they're like, yeah, there's someone outside causing a whole lot of ruckus, and you see Tyson Fury in the back just pointing and yelling, but you can't hear him. And they're like, who is that? Then he comes up, he got on the white button-up shirt. This is when Fury still had hair. He had the suspenders on. When I looked at that nigga stand over Wilder and then I saw the look in Wilder's face, I was like, this is the dude that beats Deontay Wilder. Yeah, Wilder, just stay away from him until you can get a little bit technically better. You feel what I'm saying? Then I started watching Fury, like seriously watching him. Because I only seen the Klitschko and the Christian Hammer fight. I was like, yeah, this big ass dude is a problem.
You know what I want? I always wanted to see. I wanted to see Andy and Wilder get it on. I thought that was the best speed versus power. That's a very, very interesting.
Yes.
You know, I campaigned for it. They shot me down. I said, "Come on, man." I said, "Come on." I was like, "Oh man, no, man. What he asking for too much money." I said, "Man, like, man, we get so selective, bro."
Yep.
Like so selective because remember, for a longer time, this was my problem when people were saying that the heavyweight era wasn't, you know, he reigned in this era where I was like, well, yeah, ain't nobody really stick out like that. But then when it came down to somebody like, well, yeah, that's a good matchup. That's speed versus power. Like, can Andy dart in and dart out and, you know what I'm saying, sneak up on him and use his his fancy feet, like his quick feet, you know what I'm saying, to get in, and or can Wilder just land that bomb? Because you know what I'm saying, because Andy might get gassed and Wilder might, you know what I'm saying, catch him and then change the complexion. Like that was always a good one, and they let all of the shit that I be saying, like these splinters of delusion get in the way. And it's like, look what happened with Wilder. Like you could have, in hindsight, I know he looking back like, damn, I probably should have just, we should have got together and made that deal happen, man. Maybe my stock would be different. Like, you know, who knows?
I was 50-50 about that fight. And I'm gonna keep it a beam with you. For the simple fact, when I looked at how Arthur Spilker fought Wilder, right? When I look at how Andy fights, and I look at how the dude who dropped Wilder in the Olympics and beat him, when I look at all three of those fighters, I was like, this nigga Andy could beat Wilder, because Wilder has no defense for the shorter guy who comes over his reach. He has the ability to slip the punch and then throw their punch that goes over it, like Povetkin. Povetkin was a master of it. Andy Ruiz to me was a master of it. You feel what I'm saying? And he had speed.
I think he's deceptive. I think he's deceptively speed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Speed, you know, swift, like for very nimble on his feet for a chubby guy. You know what I'm saying? I think his feet, and I've seen people like, remember Jerome Bettis? Jerome Bettis was like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I like Jerome Bettis as a fighter. You know, he was entertaining to watch to me, but I was just like, listen, man, listen, you make this fight, Wilder. This gonna be a tough one for you. This might be your toughest form of competition yet, man, because this nigga's not a joke. He's no joke. Don't sleep on Andy. Because Andy's the type of guy that at times fights to the level of competition he's facing.
Yeah, he do. And I think once he got, you know, them silk sheets, man, that's another one with them silk sheets, boy. He got that shit, boy. He was able to buy and do all kind of stuff, man. Andy ain't give a fuck about no belt after that million, after them dollars hit, man.
Yeah, that $9 million he got, he was like, motherfuck that.
Before the silk sheets, man, that's the best time for the box. That's when it's almost like going to, that's why I used to like watching the high school game. Like even now, if I can catch one, because them dudes they playing because they want to make it. They still got they're gonna listen. They're gonna give it they all. They not like, oh well shit, if we lose this one, shit, I'm waiting on the money. I'm waiting on the money game. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting on the next money game. You know, they still play. That's why we joke around about the silk sheets, man. Yeah.
Joe, man, it was a great cook chopping it up with you, man. That's what I came to drop off real quick. That little bit of understanding. So, you know, just to add on to what you were saying, because right now that type of shit is important.
I appreciate you as always, bro. You enjoy your evening, man.
You too, man.
Okay. Peace. There you have it, man. I hope my message don't get misconstrued. You know, I think that this is a real possibility. But going forward in these boxing conversations, and when people want to go off and drill certain shit home, I'm gonna be like, man, miss me with that bullshit, because we hold different standards for different fighters. We might have higher expectations, but we gotta kind of like he was saying, man, we gotta keep the same energy, man. Like that's why I liked Earl, man. You know, he moved with a purpose. And it wasn't a whole lot of nonsense with him, man. It wasn't a whole lot of nonsense with Earl. He might have had his out of the ring issues and shit like that, but like as far as character and like being, you know, solid, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I don't have really nothing, you know, that's how he carried it, man. So how Earl carried it he might be one of the last of the Mohicans for real. But just keep your eye on this, man. I don't think that it's right that they should go along like some kind of duo. If y'all not gonna fight, y'all not gonna fight. But all these, y'all not gonna fight, but then y'all got, this is my little brother, and then you got real, like, Key got real brothers. So I like the Vargas shit, but like, you got real brothers. And okay, and then Shakur is your fam. Okay, cool. Everybody else that makes sense, man. Don't gaslight everybody and act like the Andy Cruz fight ain't a fight that everybody need to see. You can say what you want about Andy Cruz, but this whole looking back, what he's got to offer, can he sell out 11? Well, Lemos can't sell out 11. So don't be surprised when people kind of be like, ooh, and then, I say, man, be very, because we're in the social media time, man, where anything you say can and will be used against you, just like the court of law. And some of the things that we put out pre-fight, man, if the performance ain't, all the way 100, or a loud voice get behind it and put this message out about their opinion on it, your stock can take a hit, man. So sometimes less is more, especially at this point, right before the fight. It's the day before weigh-in, and it's a lot of things that have been saying and everything ramping up, and every time they put a mic in your face, you cutting weight, even though he said he was very close to weight before. He was like 140 a few days ago. You can be irritable and say stuff that people can get under your skin a little easier. I'm just saying, man, let's think about some of these standards, man, that we holding everybody to, man. There shouldn't be no duos out here. We should hold these guys to the same standard. We putting all that pressure on Tank. We need to manufacture and distribute some of that pressure onto the other guys. Now, that don't mean, don't hold Tank, accountable for the level of talent that he has to continue to, beat Tank. Don't make him lax his standard. That's not what I'm saying. Hold Tank to that standard that he at, to where he's still gonna be Tank. We're not gonna lower our standards. We should disperse some of that pressure to some of these other guys. The Tank is the A side to damn near everybody, but he's not the only A side out here. So Shakur be the A side to whoever. At this point, I guess maybe if Keyshawn do win and he do what he need to do at home and do his thing, he'll be the A side to a lot of other fighters. We can't be picking and choosing now. We're gonna treat them two A sides the same way we treat Tank as the A side. Are we gonna distribute some of that pressure? So what I have done, you know what I'm saying, and you can put this in your rucksack and march on. What I have done is I've lowered my expectations and I've raised my standards. My expectations are low, but I just raised my standards. It's a safeguard. If you don't expect much out of a certain situation, how much can you really be disappointed? If you don't expect much and then somebody has under-promised, but then they over-deliver, you like, man, did you see that? Sometimes you got to trick your mind like that, especially as a boxing fan. Whatever you got to do to stay in love with the sport, you got to do it. These fighters, whatever they got to do to send, and I know they say a lot of things to hype themselves up or to garner this kind of attention or that kind of attention, but how does that age in the long run is the question. In your heart of hearts, are you moving the same way you have the expectations for this other guy to move? Or because people fuck with you, they let you slide with saying and doing certain things that you don't even let other people get away with. It's just food for thought. You know what I'm saying? It's just food for thought, but I thought this would be an interesting piece, and this is not nothing new, y'all. So I'm not saying that they gotta fight. I just think that it's crazy that Keyshawn gets so frustrated when somebody asks him about it, and that he gets so frustrated when somebody asks him about Andy Cruz. This is funny to me, man. This is funny to me. But that's pretty much all I had, man. I asked that y'all support the channel, man. Remember, I'm a ghostwriter. I don't get that much support. I'm just a ghostwriter. So I ask that y'all support the channel, man. Like the channel. If you catch this on the playback, Talk to me. I talk back. This is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. This is fact-based content, the alternative to opinion-based. You feel me? You know, it's crazy out here, man. Last thing I want to say, man, is like, there's a lot of people out here, man, that have ghostwriters. I know when I was into the music, the only thing that I would actually accept is if somebody had a hook and we went with their hook. But ain't nobody writing no verses for me. Ain't nobody writing no verses for me. There's a lot of people out here on YouTube, man. Got a lot, man. They got ghostwriters, man. They pilfering, you know what I'm saying? But like I always said, man, letting another motherfucker write for me is like letting another fucking father my seed. I'm not with it. Not with it. So boxing is a good spot, man. He's on his way. You know what I'm saying? He's on his way. I just hope the little homie hold it down. I got big. I think Kelvin is Kelvin can be great. Kelvin can be great. I got my eyes on him, man. I hope that he don't get swallowed up in all of the lights and all of that. You know, he just do his thing. He builds on his last performance against Kevin Thunderstorm. Very impressive, man. He just got this one thing. Once he figure out this one thing, the man gonna be dangerous. The man gonna be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So, and we get to see Keon's debut. So it is what it is, y'all. Thanks for everybody who came out and said what's up to me, who stopped by. You know, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a super chat, drop a cash app. You know what I'm saying? My cash app be out there. You know, support the little guys. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy making content, especially when a lot of people you ghostwriting for people, but they not telling you. They not sending you nothing. You don't ever see them in your chat saying what's up. They don't never hit your cash app. They don't never hit your super chat. But somehow, some way, you know that they're watching. Anyways, I do this for the love anyway, so you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be disappointed. I'm just saying, man, it is what it is. You support the big guys, support the little guys, man. We help you get from fight to fight, just like everybody else. We bring something to the table. I try to bring an alternative to what everybody's saying. You know, some of the things that's out there I actually agree with. I cite my sources. I tell you where I got it from, where I heard it from, who said this. You know, I don't act like it's mine. And that's this channel, man. That's what we're here for. But I got some fire coming out tomorrow. I got some fire tomorrow and Friday. I got some fire. You know what I'm saying? I got some fire coming out, man. I'm excited about it. I wanted to drop it today, but I said, nah, I'm gonna hold that off for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But I'm impressed. I'm impressed with it. And I can't wait for y'all to see it, you know. Anyways, man, I appreciate y'all as always. You know, I appreciate it. If you took time out to say what's up and stop through, salute. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.